All right. Well, that's just going to have to be good enough.
Hey, you know what? As long as we know what we're doing, for the actually watching on the live stream, let me make sure I'm now. We're going to segue to recording the intros and such for the episodes, as we always do. So if you're watching on the live feed, I'm having my webcam, so I am using my laptop, so my audio is not coming from the phone that I have in front of me. So
there you go. I feel like that's kind of a misleading video title, don't you?
What do you mean?
So let's see. On my notification, it says, "Brutally Speaking Podcast is live now, recording intros and intros for EPs with Jesse Leach of."
That's not misleading at all. We are recording intros for those episodes.
Right, but people are going to think that Jesse's on it, and he's not.
I mean, if you're dumb and you think that, then that's on you.
I mean, I'm pretty dumb, so I mean.
All right.
Here we are. Cool.
All right. So here we go.
Away we go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brutally Speaking Podcast. I am one of your hosts, John, and with me, as always, is Daniel Terry. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. I'm chugging one of my favorite drinks of all time, water.
Space Dust?
No, just water tonight. I didn't stop and get beer today. I'm trying to lose weight, and that's beer's just it's just empty calories, man. I'm not saying that I'm like stopping forever, but I'm just kind of cutting down for the time being.
Well, I figured it would be a good as time as any to actually also have a nice gin drink here in this red Solo cup, consisting of a local gin here from Grand Rapids. Used to be called Gray Skies. Now they are called Eastern Kill, which I guess is some derivative for something like river water or whatever, because we live in Grand Rapids on a river. But it's their barrel hopped dry finish gin, a couple of squirts of bitters, fresh squeeze lime juice, grapefruit juice, and what else is in here? Yep, shake that up, put it over, and the tequila, the gin, and then basically pour it over some rocks with a splash of ginger beer. I'm also going to probably be partaking today in one of my favorite tequilas, some Avion. So we gonna have ourselves a fucking party.
It is a party in the basement, COVID style.
Yes. But actually, the gin drink is actually a homage to our guest, which is Jesse Leach. You probably know him from Killswitch Engage, and that's all you're going to hear us really talk about Killswitch Engage.
You guys talk about it a little bit.
We do.
Yeah,
we do. But by and large, it is a non-Killswitch chat. It's actually a really nice deep dive in everything that Jesse has done outside of Killswitch, which I honestly don't know if a lot of people know how immersive of a musical career Jesse has had over the last 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the dude's been in so many bands, and what I liked about this chat is that not only do you guys kind of get into all of it, which I can respect, but also just his perceptions of the people that he works with now. It's funny that he classifies everybody from people from their old bands, which is just really funny to me. I
mean, I kind of do that on occasion too. It is kind of weird that at times when you're when you see someone in a new band, I think a good one will be when fuck is his name? I just had it too. A good when Douglas Robinson, formerly of man, I am just drawing blanks left and right. Formerly of Night Versus, starts up a new project. He's been hinting at a few different projects now on his Instagram and so forth. And it's going to be kind of weird not him being Doug from Night Versus. When he was in Night Versus, it was weird being oh, it's Doug from The Sleeping. So It is interesting how some people become stuck to or tied to the band that they used to be in. That was sort of something we kind of touched on with Jesse Zaraska of Misery Signals. the previous week where it was like, oh, you're Jesse from Misery Signals, even though you've been out of that band for like 10 years, but now you're back in it. So
yeah, it is super weird. And like even I fall into that a lot. Because like when I was just recently on another podcast called As the Story Grows, and I was giving kind of like my story of how I got to where I'm at today, you know, as far as being a podcaster and everything. But it's so weird whenever I went back and listened to the episode and listened to his intro. He's like, Dan is most well known as being the host for Discography Discussion. And I remember thinking that was like, I was like, that's really weird that he didn't introduce me as Dan from Into Destiny, because that was just that's just the first creative endeavor that I had ever really been a part of. And so it was like kind of a weird adjustment sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. This was really interesting, and I think we just had episode 250 last week with Jesse from Misery Signals. This one kind of fell about into our laps because of the Instagram lives we've been doing, which we've actually been posting the audio versions of those into our randomly. And I was talking with Josh, who is Killswitch's tech/production manager and is the bass player of The Weapon. And so I was like, indirectly, Josh, you are one of the few reasons I have a 1-star rating on the podcast.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
And so, we were just kind of joking about it. And then I was like, I've always said, though, like, if I can ever get Jesse, we're going to talk about everything other than Killswitch. And then lo and behold, he was actually watching the Instagram live and was like, sounds great. So then I was like, okay, opportunity. Let's get that set in stone and get it figured out. And thankfully I was furloughed from work, so I had open availability to make it work. And it was a lot of fun. It definitely, I was really nervous to do it because I was like, oh fuck, do I really know my shit bands to really talk in length about these bands? And Jesse did obviously a lot of the heavy lifting, but something that I thought was really interesting was just how honest he was about a lot of the different things that he's discussed lyrically in these bands, and even to the point of like with The Empire Shall Fall, just straight up being like, yeah, they're so good. I was not.
Yeah, that was really interesting, and like it's hard for me to be like, oh, like he's such a prolific vocalist, like, to me, that like I couldn't even fathom that whenever he said it. And it's so funny that he spent so much time trying to explain to us just how not metal he was. It was almost like a contest, of like, oh, I mean, I'm basically just like a closet goth. And it's like, dude, it's okay. Like, it's all good, man. It's okay to diversify. That doesn't make you less of whatever it is you are.
Yeah, it was just kind of, I don't know. It was really surreal. Jesse has been someone that was a bucket list guest for me on the podcast for a long time to kind of basically have the conversation we did. I'm hoping eventually, when everything gets going back to normal and or at the very least when maybe Times of Grace is new record is out and whatever, maybe we can have him back on to discuss more. At this point, we're down to, we need Travis and Alex from Atreyu to have that full band. We need, at this point, we just need Adam, and we'll have all of Killswitch have that on this show. It's kind of a race to what band can we collect and get everyone to complete the full set. I'm trying to figure out who it's going to be.
It's like collecting pop figurines, man. Like
absolutely.
Like, it's just what are they called? Like pop? They're not Pop Cap. That's a video game.
Pop Funkos. Funko
Pop.
Pops.
That's right. But yeah, it's like the more that we can get in our little audio collection, our little audio shelf, the better. That way, doing this is kind of selfish in a way, because it's like we have these conversations, we can listen to them, even if they go off the internet. No one can ever take them away from us, and that's the coolest thing about this, is just like getting to like to have that intimate of a conversation with Jesse. And I'm bummed that I couldn't be there because I'm a loser and I work every day. Guess that's not technically the definition of a loser, but you know what I mean. Like, like I just wasn't there, so I lose cool points or something like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, this interview is kind of long as it is, so I think we should just stop the blabbering and get right into the interview with Jesse, and we will talk to you for a little bit on the other side.
We're breaking on through to the other side.
Yep. Can't play YouTube videos on this because then we get a cease and desist.
Well, you know, I'm no stranger to the YouTube takedown order, so
yeah.
That's great. I think they like totally blocked our last video. It was incredible. It was Facebook that did it. It wasn't.
Yeah, I think the thing would be. Yeah, I don't know. The funny thing is that it was like no one could hear it. So, and it was literally the visual that it caught for the minute and a half.
Yeah. It was like you're using our stuff. It's like we're not using your stuff really. We're just
we're also on the same platform that stuff is already existing on.
Man, if they only knew how much money we made off that stream, you know, they'd be furious.
Man, I have so many quarters of wooden nickels. I almost maybe have a full 10 cents.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got this free USB flash drive as it was pretty cool.
A microdose.
Actually, this is
a story of a girl
who cried. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know that song. I only listen to Deicide. But let's see. This is a micro USB reader, so it's actually very handy for all of my gaming stuff that I have going on. John called me earlier. I'm like, yeah, I'm just playing Tony Hawk 3 on my computer. Do something about it. Come at me. What's funny is in Tony Hawk 3, that was the first one where you could create your own skater.
Yeah.
And so like I'm like trying to make the dude like I got the face down like perfectly. And but for whatever reason, like it would only let me be so fat. And I'm like, I'm trying to create my virtual avatar here. Like, you know, like let me be realistic with it. And they did not. It was a little disappointing, to be perfectly honest.
Maybe it's a little bit of that thing from Jackass where like Bam used to actually CKY technically, but where he'd stuff his pants and all that stuff to be what was it? Trying to remember the skit, Fat Ass Skate or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like he was like, it just looks so wrong to see someone so fat be able to do like a kickflip and shit.
Well, and that's probably what the creators of the game were thinking. They're like, look, dude, we're not going to let you go above 220 on this. Like that's it. Yeah. So really, my creative skater is technically at my ideal weight. So I'm stoked about that. It's been weird though. Like doing like this dieting thing. Like I've been eating veggie sandwiches for lunch, and like whenever I eat like regular food, I don't consider veggie sandwiches to be regular food. That's how far gone I am. But like I've been eating those, and those have been pretty good. But then like just cutting my meal portions like literally in half.
Yeah.
Like it's torture. Like I'm walking around all day like super hungry, and I'm like really irritable and like screaming at people and stuff. But supposedly that's all going to go away.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually just saw like a friend of mine was going through the same thing. I just get high now. So it's like I don't eat. I do pretty good most of the day, like not eating garbage and stuff like that. And I work in basically like a sweat box, like in a shipping receiving dock with no AC and anything. So when it's like 90 degrees, it's hot as shit where I am. Yeah,
see, I'm pretty pampered where I work. And there's not a whole lot of room for exercise. So like that's been kind of a thing.
Oh, today I had to haul a couple 100-pound conveyor belts and put them in a box and then pick them up again and put them on a scale and put them on a cart and do all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
I don't know if exercise is all it's cracked up to be though, because like before I started this job that I'm at now, I installed garage doors and like I was fat doing that. And that was like
practical.
Practical
strength.
Well, yeah, when it wasn't this, just that. I mean, it was outrageous. Like the first couple of days I started doing garage doors, I like wanted to quit. I was like, I can't do this. This is too much. Like just holding like 200-pound garage door sections and like not dropping them, and they're like full of glass and they're 18 feet long. It was for lack of a better word, kind of a nightmare. But after the first 3 months or so, I built up like I've got incredible upper body strength. But you just don't see it under all the flab. So it's like if I could just peel back that top layer a little bit, like that would be ideal for me.
There you go.
Now, if I'm
now back to the podcast.
I was gonna say if I'm successful, I'll start my own weight loss podcast.
There you go.
Getting Slimmer with Discuss Metal Dan. Yeah.
Discussing diets with Discuss Metal Dan.
Presented by DiscussMetal.com. Yeah.
Discussing meals on Discuss Diets at Discuss Metal.
Join our Patreon for a free USB flash drive
with all my prep meals and all that.
There it is.
All right.
It's just various types of food made like cooked with space dust.
No, I can't enjoy it any other way, so I cook it on, which burns all the alcohol off. But god damn it.
Yeah, that's citrus. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're doing a podcast. All right, let's get professional.
So that was my conversation with Jesse Leach of Killswitch Engage, of The Weapon, of Time's Grace, of Corinne, of Nothing Stays Gold, of Seamless, of only one of what was it? I don't remember that one, so I'll stop that. Of The Way Back Within, of just so many bands. This was a lot of fun. Something that we didn't mention previously is we do these over Skype, and where someone has a webcam, we can record the video. So if you would like, the video is over on YouTube, and you can watch it, me talking to Jesse. As of right now, I'm kind of torn. With it being so long, I don't necessarily really want to cut what little bit I did cut out of the actual audio part. I think totally, if you watch the unedited version, it's like an extra 4.5, 5 minutes. Just kind of the intro thing of me talking about listening to Jay Dilla and stuff like that. But
it's bonus.
Yeah. So if you want to see the quote unquote unedited, because I'm lazy and don't really know how to edit video that well without it fucking up the rest of everything else, go to YouTube. Check it out. We are over there doing what you already heard.
I think we're doing this right now on YouTube, right? Also, right?
That is true. All of that aside, though, just monster thanks to Jesse for taking the time and honestly being so real and raw and vulnerable. We really fucking lucked out these last 2 weeks of both Jesse Zaraska and Jesse Leach coming on the show and just being honest about a lot of things. Like the time, Jesse talking about his time out of Killswitch and basically, him working in the bar industry and kind of, just being self-described, kind of being a drunk and an alcoholic a little bit. And being really low about himself and his abilities, I think it's well documented. I mean, he talks about those things and has talked about his mental health and all that for many years now. So it's nothing new, but I mean, it's still just one of those things. It's so commendable to be so raw and honest with basically a stranger. I mean, he doesn't know who I am from anybody else. So it's much appreciated on my end.
Yeah, it was super open. And even then there's still such a hint of self-depreciation there, but maybe not as unhealthy as maybe it has been for him in the past. But yeah, I really liked, I liked especially the stuff that you guys got into about just like when he was getting into like, you guys were talking a lot about misinformation and stuff that you and I talk about all the time. It seems like on and off air, just how like we're in an information age and people don't actually think about things. They just slog crap. Like just as soon as you see something, it's like you just hit that share button.
No, I thought you had more to say.
Awkward pause.
Yeah, no, this just sounds so stupid and self-serving on my end, but it's just one of those that it's like this went exactly like in the best case scenario. This went exactly how I would have wanted it to. And it's just so surreal to be like, I had the conversation that I wanted to. And the fact that he agreed to do it, without going through a publicist and all that kind of stuff. And we got as much time with him as we did was just so huge. And I think really allowed us to kind of take deep dives into every band. It was kind of serendipitous. I just saw on my Facebook. my Facebook memories. I messaged Jesse and I was like, how fucking weird is it that I made this post and it's all the bands that were basically sent to you on that mixtape when Pete was like, hey, let's do this band. It's sort of going to be in the vein of this. Check out these bands.
Yeah, this super coincidence. Sorry, I hate to break character, but are we on some kind of weird loop?
No.
Oh, the audio is just being weird, I guess.
Happens.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if you're watching it in real time, it's like a 30-second delay, I think. Yeah,
no, it's all good.
Okay.
It's probably my problem, not yours.
But all of that said, this was a longer episode, so let's go ahead and stop wasting more of your time, not with the meat and potatoes of why you're here. Well, let's do that again. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, let's start winding up this episode for you. Start wrapping up this episode. If you would like to keep up with Jesse, simple enough, just Instagram, Jesse_D_Leach. He does have a Twitter. It's I against I, EYE against I, the letter I. He doesn't really use it at all, so no real need in following him over there. Basically just Instagram. If you would like to keep up with a few of the different bands, this is going to get a little convoluted here, but Facebook, Official Times of Grace, and At The Weapon. That's where you can find those two bands. On Instagram, you can find The Weapon at The Weapon NYC. You can follow them at The Way Back Within. You can follow them at dead_trees_official, times_of_grace_music, and Twitter, just Times of Grace. If you need to find any, it will be in the show notes below, wherever you're listening to this on. Just go find any of those things and you will be updated with all of it. Looking forward to kind of seeing what some of these other projects are going to be. I know he said he was going to take a trip across a few different states or whatever, and kind of do some like scoring or whatever for The Way Back Within. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. And obviously the project with his girlfriend, Dead Trees Official, more of an audio-visual kind of a thing. In Times of Grace, everyone's kind of on the lips of everybody right now, is what a lot of longtime fans are waiting for. And I'm pretty excited. He kind of divulged quite a bit about it. Doesn't seem like he's really keeping that under any lock and key of any sorts, any of the, what it's about or how it sounds or how excited he is. Actually, he was doing an Instagram Live earlier before we recorded this, and he was talking about that as well. So very much looking forward to hearing some new Times of Grace. That Hymn of a Broken Man record's really, really good.
It's been too long.
And obviously Killswitch has a new record out, Atonement. They didn't really get a fair shake to tour behind it, so there is that as well if you haven't heard that or picked it up. And there's the B-sides as well that came out shortly after the pandemic started. So plenty of music from Jesse to go check out, and obviously go back through, check out Nothing Stays Gold, Corinne, all the original bands, Seamless as well. Just a lot of great, all diverse kinds of music. And speaking of diverse, Dan will tell you where he can be found on the internet with his 9 million podcasts.
Well, I can be found on Twitter at DiscussMetalDan. You can send me an email at discussmetaldan@gmail.com. I've got 4 email addresses too, so any one of them's fine. Dan and Joe Show or DiscussMetalDan or whatever. Brutally Speaking at gmail.com. I mean, you can find me pretty much in all those places. You can find my other podcast, Discography Discussion and Discuss Metal, at discussmetal.com. And yeah, so I mean, I'm here. I'm here for you.
And if you would like to keep up with all things this podcast, it's simple enough. Bruce Speak Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out the YouTube. This is another example of where we have the videos of us chatting with people when they apply. You can go watch Dan and I talk to Ryan from Demon Hunter. That's been getting a lot of love lately.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we should get him back and do basically the loose chat we did after the interview. That was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
And more importantly, you can find everything this podcast over on our website at brewspeakpod.com. Check everything out. We have our web store. We have pins available. And another thing you can find is our sponsors. I actually want to take a minute to talk about one of our sponsors. I want to take a minute to talk about someone that we're sponsoring, and that is the forthenomads.org silent auction. Obviously, Frank Finelli, who has been on the podcast a handful of times, is a close friend. He and his roommate Tater started a fundraiser to raise funds for out of work touring people, basically the people that aren't in bands. And they have so far raised over $100,000 in about 4 months and have been doing rounds of silent auctions with people from, who have they had? I mean, right now they have Brian Garris from Knock Loose with a skateboard. They have the guitar players from In This Moment with guitars up for auction. There's so many cool people involved in this. Fellow guest of the podcast, Lindsay Manfredi, was on there donating her stage-worn outfits from the last album cycle. And I have been busting my ass helping people get lined up for the next round. And one of them that I don't know if it will happen for the next round or the round after that, but I got Dee Snider to apparently donate some stuff.
That's awesome.
So I've been busting my ass. I can't wait to share some of the hard work I've been putting in, getting some really awesome people to donate really cool shit. And I am just noticing that my recorder thing isn't showing any output volume. Hello.
Got to start over.
Oh, shit. Okay, I see what it was. Apparently my microphone was on mute.
Interesting.
So...
yeah, because I don't hear the double speak on Skype.
Roughly how long do you think that we went without it?
Pretty much the whole outro, I think.
You just wanted to redo the whole outro for shits and giggles, make it condensed?
Yeah, I think so. So, the people watching, this will be a treat. They get both outros.
Okay. All right. Second chime. So that was my interview with Jesse Leach of Killswitch Engage, of Nothing Stays Gold, of Corinne, of Times of Grace, of Seamless, and a slew of other awesome bands. Just really want to take a moment to thank him for taking so much time out of his day. He is puppy sitting right now, and I got to see the puppy that he is babysitting, and it was a very cute dog, and it was kind of fun talking to him about, basically watching puppies, since we have one as well.
Sorry, I was just sharing the chat. My bad.
You're good.
Send. Okay, sorry. Self-promotion, y'all. I just didn't think it was going to take that long. Anyway, where are we at? We're in the outro.
I can set you up a little bit better than what I did.
Thank you.
But all of that aside, I really enjoyed this chat. I couldn't have asked for, in my wildest dreams, when I was hoping to get him, I wouldn't have expected that we would have gotten almost 2 hours with him, and to have him be so honest and open about a lot of the things that he was honest and open about. Like I said, kind of in the intro, the bigger thing for me was honestly just the fact that I thought we were so close to getting The Empire Shall Fall music, and to hear him be like, yeah, it was really tough. I'm not necessarily trying to put words in his mouth, but I in so many words, he was kind of like, I just was kind of the weak link. Those dudes are so prolific and so great that it was so hard for me to figure out how to write something over it.
Yeah, that part was pretty shocking to me as well, because I really didn't. I couldn't have imagined that with him being as prolific as he is, at least to me. But yeah, I really enjoyed how intricate this chat got. And maybe not intricate's not the right word, but just the whole idea of talking about everything other than the main thing. Because like if you really think about it, like we would not have gotten this interview out of Jesse if this was a Killswitch Engage press cycle interview. We would have gotten 20 minutes. We would have talked about whatever new thing they were doing, and that would have been it. And so, in contrast to whatever Mr. One Star Review thinks about it, this was the better chat to have.
I think so. I learned a lot, and I feel like I know quite a bit about him through following his career. And there was a lot of stuff I walked away just kind of going like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and just like the intensely personal of like, yep, I was kind of like not doing anything and life sucked. And, like that was quite a bit. That was quite a bit to take in.
Yeah, it was one of those that this kind of reminded me a little bit of the Jesse from Misery Signals episode 2, where it's like we're able to kind of laugh about some stuff, and then like just 2 seconds later, you're like falling right into a bit of like real serious shit. And I don't know, like to me, like this may not be an episode that like fans of Jesse love. I'm sure somebody will find something to bitch about it. It is what it is in this medium. But the thing to me is, I think it's so inspiring. Jesse always is kind of an inspiring individual to me. But I think the thing that's even more so is this dude has had so many ups and downs, he's done so many things, so many different styles of music. He's not afraid to be who he is and put himself out there. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way he thinks it will, or that, you would hope that it will, but it's never deterred him from being unapologetically him. And I think that was something that just resonated throughout this whole conversation, is that, like, yeah, maybe this project didn't work or whatever, didn't take off and wasn't the big thing, but it never stopped him from putting his all into it. And sometimes, Dan, I think you can probably agree with this from listening to podcasts or interviewing people yourself. There are definitely some bitter ass motherfuckers out there who, after leaving the big, like, that if they would have left Killswitch before it took off and became the big Killswitch that it is now, that there might have been a lot of people when they go to do the next thing, that's the chip on, like, I need to get back where I was, or I need to attain these things, that the slights against me or whatever. And I never got the feeling that Jesse was that way, that he was driven by ego or to prove that he is as good as, everyone thinks he is or was from Alive or Just Breathing or whatever. It always felt like everything he's done is because he genuinely is passionate about it. And I that just is so invigorating to hear, especially someone who's been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Yeah, totally. Like it's definitely a like he doesn't come across as bitter. He doesn't even really come across as like that he like made a bad decision like to leave Killswitch. I mean, even then, even when End of Heartache came out, he was on a song on that, you know what I mean? So it wasn't, I don't think it was ever anything beyond a totally cool, clean break. So he, was able to avoid that bitterness in a way maybe that somebody that was kicked out of a band couldn't.
Absolutely. All of that aside, this episode kind of is a little longer, and I think an equally fitting way for episode 251, after that really awesome chat with Jesse's Rask of Misery Signals, to kind of, 1-2 punch with the two Jessies. So if you would like to keep up with Jesse, it's simple enough. You can go to Instagram at Jesse_D_Leach. That is his pretty much only source of social media. You can find him on Twitter. It's I against I, EYE against I, the letter I. But he's not very active on that at all, so you can follow it, but don't be surprised when nothing gets posted. As for the various bands he's a part of, I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. Just honestly look in the show notes. There's so many bands, and we're going to tag as many of them as we can in the show notes, just make it as easy as possible for you to check up with all things Jesse. And Dan also has a million fucking podcasts, so he can tell you where he can be found on the internet as well.
I can be found, all my podcasts can be found at discussmetal.com. And you can send me an email at discussmetaldan@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Twitter at discussmetaldan, if you notice kind of a theme there. I'm on Facebook too, under Daniel Terry, if you're interested in that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm here for you.
And speaking of being here for you, if you would like to keep up with all things podcast, it is simple enough. Just go to brewspeakpod.com. It literally has any way that you can communicate with us or find this podcast: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you aren't smart, if you aren't able to just go there, simply enough, Bruce Speak Pod everywhere. If you would like to see the video of this, it is up over on YouTube. Check it out, all hour and 40 some odd minutes. It's on. I just left it up unedited. I didn't feel like fucking with it. You get an extra like 4.5 minutes of me blabbering throughout, and you can watch Jesse talk to me.
Wow.
And yep. And let's see, we plugged that. And another thing you can find over on our is actually something that we're sponsoring, which is the forthenomads.org silent auction. We are supporting them. We donated to help support the people putting on this awesome cause. We've had Frank Finelli, one of the founders of the For the Nomads, on the podcast a handful of times. Basically, this is a fundraiser to raise money for out-of-work, behind-the-scenes crew of the touring industry. Currently, they have raised over $110,000, and they have some really awesome things up in the silent auction. Currently, now, they have guitars from In This Moment that are up for auction. Brian Garris of Knocked Loose has a skateboard from A Different Shade of Blue up that he signed. There's stuff from Big D and the Kids Table, or whatever that band is. I can't remember off the top of my head. They have stuff from AFI. I have been busting my ass helping them get some stuff lined up for this next round, and I'll announce the one because I already posted it on Facebook. But we got D. Snyder to donate something, so I'm looking forward to that because D is fucking awesome, and someday we'll get him on the podcast. But all of that said, it's a great cause, so if you can, go over to forthenomads.org. You can donate if you want, just straight up every little bit helps. Sharing the links helps, and the silent auctions. Bid on those if there's something that you would like to bid on. It's all going to a great cause, so just want to shout those out. Just want to shout them out and support them. They've been big supporters of us over here, as well as our actual sponsors for this podcast. I'm going to go through with this real quickly. On Point Paul May, keep your beard and hair on point. Use our code BSP15. Get 15% off your total purchase order. Rockabilia.com has over 500,000 items online. Go to Rockabilia. Nope. Has over 500,000 items on their online store. They're all officially licensed through the bands. So not only when you buy a T-shirt or buy some gloves or buy a candle or buy whatever else it is, not only are you supporting Rockabilia, but you're supporting the bands as well. So it's a win-win. And if you use our code BREW15, you get 15% off your total orders and win all the way across the board. You're supporting us. We're supporting them. They're supporting us. We're supporting you. It's very just self-indulgent supporting over here. It's a vicious cycle of support. But it is greatly appreciated. And lastly but not leastly is is the Bean Bastard.
Oh, there it is.
I brought my Sproton pack with me to post on the Instagram Live and the Facebook Lives and all that shit we're doing. They are a great company. They are out on the front lines donating coffee to various workers who work, the essential workers as they are. And you can go over to thebeanbastard.com, pick up some delicious coffee, follow them on Facebook and Instagram at thebeanbastard. Let them know that we sent you. Buy and support a local business if you can. So thanks to all of our sponsors. And from the Brutally Speaking podcast, I am John.
And I am Dan.
We will talk to you all next week.
We made it.
I actually think the second outro was better.
I think it was too. There's only one thing. You're just gonna have to use my Skype audio for the episodes because I didn't actually forget to hit record, but whenever I went to Ecamm to rip it just now, it just took a massive dump. Yeah. So yeah. There it is. So
all right.
Hey, thank you, Michael. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I know I seemed really emotionless whenever I said that, but it's probably the lighting in the room, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. But yeah, dude, Brutally Speaking and Discuss Metal, we're gonna be everyone's favorite podcasts very, very soon.
Not this show.
Oh, come on, man. I don't know, man. I
can't land D. Snyder, so.
Maybe I can. Should I contact D. Snyder? Be like, dude, first of all, do you know who I am? I interviewed some dudes from Zayo like 400 times. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but that's pretty cream of the crop if you ask me. Nobody. Hold on, this just in. No. Oh, okay, never mind. Nobody asked me.
I imagine D would be like, "Oh, I don't drink," and then I'd be like, "That's fine." But you speak very brutally.
Yeah. I mean, you speak so brutally. You and honestly, like you're just not gonna take it. Oh, I can't do it. I can't make that joke.
I want to talk. I want to talk.
I can't make that joke. I don't know. Cool. So what do we got next? We got slaves.
Slaves that aren't going to be called slaves anymore because they can't be slaves.
Well, we'll get into that in just a minute after I get some like water or something.
And then see if your Ecamm works or no.
Well, I just rebooted it. Hang on. Maybe if I just quit out of it and go back in, maybe it'll like.
Sure.
I mean, that didn't work last time, but this is like Howard Jones all over again. What is it with members of Killswitch and like my computer? Like my MacBook is not compatible with Killswitch Engage like whatsoever. Nope. Yeah, they're not there. There's nothing. Okay. The last thing I have on here is a conversation I had with Brandon Kellum that will be appearing on the Discuss Metal podcast very soon. Yeah. So there's that plug.
Actually, you're not gonna believe this.
What?
Let me make sure it's not behind here somehow.
Okay.
Let's see if that'll work. Okay, never mind. Oh. I was like, dude, my Ecamm's gone. It's not on my desktop.
Did Ecamm just fail like across the board? like my freeze up blue screen of death is just everywhere.
No, it finally I found it in like my dock, but like it's not in where it usually is on my desktop.
They engaged the kill switch on your gear. Duh. Yeah. You know what? That was right in front of me. I don't know how I didn't just grab it. That's hilarious. I'm about to run a kill switch on my throat though. I think I got strep again. It's not good. But here we go. I'm gonna grab some water and then I will be back with you fine folks very soon. I'm gonna turn my camera off because I don't want people to notice that I'm not wearing pants. What? Actually, I just do that. That's the great thing about podcasting, kids. You can do everything as long as you look good from the waist up.
It's the opposite of porn.
It's completely the opposite. Nobody knows what's going on below this line. This one right here. Yeah.
Now the irony is I can actually see Dan because he's still on Skype. Not anymore.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah, shit. Well, now it's just me. Half the time I don't even know what to do when it's just me. So just stare at a computer screen like it isn't recording me back to other people. It's funny being able to hear the delay on Dan's end. Who's even watching this thing? I think it's Tequila O'Clock again. So good. Let's hit your lips. It's pretty absurd, I think. Anybody who doesn't know, there's a little behind the scenes on me. I have a weird thing where I need multiple beverages because I just can't commit to any one thing. So like my workstation has usually a Gatorade. I think today I had a Gatorade, a water, and what else did I? Oh, one of those sparkling ice caffeine drinks come in a can. Super good. And someone walks by, they're like, are you drinking all of those at the same time? I was like, indirectly, yes. But currently right now, I have a Gatorade, I have my gin drink, and I have tequila.
I mean, you're just like two more drinks away from a total system shutdown.
And 2 drinks away from a Chumbawamba song.
He drinks a whiskey drink. Oh yeah, you're right. They do list all the drinks. So vodka. My favorite drink is the one that reminds me of the good times.
Which is what?
Space dust. Always with the space dust. All right. So slaves that's no longer slaves.
Well, they still are. We'll get to that.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, I can. I'm incredibly patient. But let's see here. Let's make sure we're actually recording this time. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it.
Yes.
I'm gonna hit that red button. There you go.
Red ring of death.
Rock and roll.
Keyword for buttholes.
There it is.
Yep.
I guess it just depends on what you ate before that, really. I don't know.
Baboons. Cool. Baboon eyes and the sauce. Chicken sauce.
Maybe. I don't know. All right.
Apparently you don't know your Freddy Got Fingered reference.
I do not watch, I did not ever watch that movie.
No?
No. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Never heard of it, bro.
Interesting.
I've heard of it, but it's definitely not like. Oh wow! I almost just said a DVD I'd pick up from the video store. What year is it?
Here's a fun thing, and it doesn't work because you don't have your kids here. But tomorrow, and for homework for next week, ask your kids what if I ask you what if you were using your hand, how would you say using a telephone? What would you do?
How would you do what?
How would you make the hand gesture for that you're?
Oh, I don't know. Just like one of these.
Yeah. Okay. So ask your kids what they would show or how they would do that, because one of our friends' kids apparently was like this, because it's a flat surface now. So you just hold it up to your face. So this doesn't exist because there's not a landline to have the two ends.
That is interesting. I never really thought about it like that.
I know. And I felt really fucking old when they said that. I was like, oh, God, you're right.
I mean, you totally win. My mind is completely blown. But, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
One more thing that blows my mind about kids, because I love their weird thinking. I remember hanging out with my friend's kid, and which is weird because now he's 18, but at the time he was 4 or 5. And he takes a bite of a French fry and then just goes, so are French fries just mashed potatoes with a casing around them? And I was like, yeah, actually, that's a really astute observation.
Honestly, that's dead on.
I'm not even mad at that.
Is that kid going to become president?
I don't know.
Oh, well, we'll find out. They got to be 35 to be president. Sure. But I guess ideally it's 70. I don't know how it works.
Take
35 and double it.
Yeah, and have no experience.
Yeah.
Seems to work.
Fake it till you make it. It's the Trump way.
Yep. On that note.
We just got political.
Oh, yeah.
I've been bad for that lately. And Sean's gone. Yep, he's gone. Did my internet just go out? Probably. This is amazing. Well, it's not me. Welcome to Dan Terry's Brutally Speaking. John is currently missing from the he's missing from Skype as well as this streaming Facebook thing that we're doing. So we got that going for us. Yeah, John's gone. Later, John. Yeah, so this is super awkward. All right, I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna try calling him back on Skype, and we'll see what's what. We'll see what's going on here. This has been a really weird night, technology wise. Calling John. John, where you at, man? Yeah, we are. I'll say I'm still on StreamYard. I could try to add you. That's weird because we're still live. Hello, everybody. That's awesome. How do you invite me to this thing? I have no idea how to use this at all. You guys are really seeing behind the scenes now. I'm just going to copy the URL and see if it takes if it works. Click it, see what happens. It's probably just going to take you to the main website. This is real life, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody can hear you. For anybody that cares, he just quoted Fred Durst's line from a horrible Stain song. I said what I said. I think it's funny that you set this up, but I'm still live on Facebook by myself. It's incredible, actually. I mean, I just announced it as soon as you froze. I was like, well, welcome to Dan Terry's Brutally Speaking. We are now called Brutally Discussing. Discussing brutality. That's actually not bad. I just want to use the word discussion in so many different contexts. That's kind of like my life goal. I guess that link I sent you did not work. Oh. I don't see you. No, because I'm logged in. Or I'm not logged in. You are. I mean, I could share my screen on Facebook, I guess, if that sweetens the pot for anybody. Hang on a second. I think we're going to have to start a new one. Nope, there you go. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. John Beatty is back.
Hello. Hey.
All right. Well, if that's not an insider look on how the sausage is made, I don't know what is.
I don't know if it's sausage you're making at this point.
French
fries.
Sausage and French fries sound so good right now. Ugh.
Just make some really limp ass French fries, so it's almost like a spaghetti.
And dude, I would pour cheap dollar store queso all over the top. and just spread it around oh my god.
Pour some queso on me.
Oh, it'd be so disgustingly gross. I'm so hungry. Right. I can't eat anything until tomorrow.
What's up?
Go ahead. It's all you, bro.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brutally Speaking podcast. I am one of your hosts, John, and with me, as always, is Daniel Terry. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. I've been here the whole time. You're the one that just showed up.
Well, I mean, I got to take a permanent vacation every now and again, which I guess makes it not really a permanent vacation, is it?
Not really. I don't know. I'm just staying home, going through my toys in the attic.
Okay. I, really pumped about this interview. It is McAndrew, vocalist of Slaves, whose latest album, To Better Days, is out next Friday, as of when you're hearing this, August 7th. This was kind of an interesting one. Indirectly, I think we've talked to 2/3 of Johnny Craig's old bands.
Yeah. I mean, again, like we talked about in the Kill Switch episode, we're just collecting them audio figurines, man.
Yes. Actually, I was kind of looking forward to doing this one because Matt is an interesting individual, not only, stepping into an already established band in Slaves, but kind of coming in literally right as a tour is about to happen behind a new record, and now you're the new vocalist who had nothing to do with any of that. And people are probably going to be not too keen on you right out the gate. So a lot to prove. Big shoes to fill. That last record that Johnny Craig did with the band is really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I like stepping in as a new vocalist. Literally, the center point of the band is hard. Like, you could swap bass players out until like the cows come home and nobody cares. You could swap.
He did.
Yeah, you could swap. You could swap drummers out like it's a revolving door.
He did.
I mean, granted, there's only like 4 drummers, right? Like in the entire world.
Yes, Dave Grohl.
Yeah, Dave Grohl, Gene Hoglan. Yeah, I mean, there's just
Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, there's 4 drummers, but you can actually swap everybody out in a band except the vocalist and be fine. So yeah, stepping in into lead vocal, and like this isn't like Zayo or something like that where like anybody could just come in and like imitate the voice, Jimmy
Ryan.
Right. Well, exactly. Anybody can't just step up and emulate the voice. So like you've got a vocalist that is trying to, and you guys got into this in the interview a little bit, like, not necessarily like copying the old vocalist, but doing something that the fans are going to get behind. And in a way, it's still kind of proving yourself. So like, not only can I perform the songs that you love and you're still going to love them, but when we record this new stuff, we're not going to go so far off of the beaten path that you're going to be alienated, which I actually kind of appreciated a little bit. Like, it was kind of refreshing to hear somebody say that, like that they're still going to try to hold true to what the fans of the band would be expecting. Normally what we get in these interviews is, well, I'm me and everything is about me and I am just the best. And, you're going to forget all about that other guy. Like, you get so much of that. And so it's kind of cool hearing somebody just be like, yeah, we wrote the record that we wanted to write for sure, but it's not going to like piss off fans of the band.
Well, I think the other thing too that gets a little bit interesting about this is, does the band, and I asked this, but it's like, does the band take a little bit more of a concerted effort to engage the singer in the writing process, knowing that it's going to be the first example of this new iteration of a band?
Yeah. I mean, that's like with it being a reboot, essentially. I don't remember if you used the word reboot or not in the in the interview, but like with it being essentially a reboot, it's really interesting how they're handling all of this, and I don't know. It seems fresh. Yeah,
I had seen the band on the tour that they were on, one of the first with Matt, and I don't know. I'd seen Slaves, and I wasn't with Johnny Craig on a Color Morale tour, and I wasn't really a fan of it. Like, Johnny just seemed like he was doing like vocal acrobatics the whole set, and I mean, he does. It's what he does. He's got a great voice that has wide range, but I just felt like it was like a thing where it was like, it would be akin to like a guitar player just fucking soloing over everything the entirety, and you're just like, get it, you can do all these things, but like, just want to hear the fucking song. And that's kind of how I felt when watching Johnny. Is I was like, I get it, sing, please. Just like, you don't have to be so extra right now.
Right.
And seeing Matt, and I wish I could remember how far into the tour we were at that point, but it was a thing where I felt I was a little bit shy to me. Seemed like, he was kind of at times stretching his vocal capabilities to try to mimic so much of what Johnny was doing. And I know that's kind of what's expected of him, but I think it's something that we've seen someone like, actually the last 2 guests we've had on, Jesse from Misery Signals and Jesse Leach from Killswitch, that's something that they've kind of both learned to do, is find their way through the other material, make it their own while still doing the original version justice. And I'm kind of interested to see when Slaves gets back on the road, to see if maybe this record has allowed Matt to be more comfortable with who he is within the band, to where when you see them live, it now is a lot more of what it is now, because he's more comfortable in who he is and the role he has within the band, and maybe not needing to be compared to Johnny at all times.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really hard because it's going to happen, and it's just something that, like, for lack of a better term, you just kind of have to deal with.
Absolutely. Well, without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Michael. Nope.
No. not even close.
Yep. Let's get into my conversation with Matt of Slaves, and we will talk to you on the flip side.
And we're flipping.
Flipping them burgers.
Flip. Yeah, so this one I'm going to sound great on, but not the Jesse one, but that's on brand.
Yep. So that was with Matt McAndrew of Slaves. Again, their latest record, Two Better Days, is out next Friday, as of when you're hearing this, August 7th. Pre-orders are still live over at slaves.merchnow.com if you would like to pre-order the record still. They have vinyl. They have a bunch of merch bundle options, so go pick this record up. It's actually really good. Wasn't entirely sure what I was going to get when we got the link to this, and was pleasantly surprised at how well and cohesive it was. I think a lot of longtime fans of the band are going to enjoy this record, and I think maybe they're going to get some new people on board as well. So lots to look forward to. And, I kind of feel like the album title is a little tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, yeah. It's a little much.
Something that I actually brought up in this interview, and I don't know if I just didn't articulate it very well or whatever, but has since become a pretty big plot point for the band right now, is, I had asked, like, was there a potential to change the name, given the fact of, just trying to distance from what the band was and some of the problems from Johnny being in the band and so forth. And it was like, no. And then, literally the day after I did this interview, there goes the press release that Slaves are going to change their name. To what, I don't know. But it was pretty interesting to yeah. I mean, I definitely understand why, but it is one of those where it's like, I wonder if he knew, or it was just like, oh, and not necessarily say yes, and then, kind of ruin potentially the press release coming the following day. But it was just literally the day after I did this interview, here comes this news that they're changing their band name. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I asked you that question.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that can be a little frustrating with the time, like the time lapse, but yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
It was also it was fun. The Voice. I don't know if Dan watches that show at all. Probably not. But it's a long suspicion I've had that it's not exactly as it seems from what you see on TV. I feel like there's kind of some behind the scenes stuff that makes it a little less on the, upfront with how it's done.
No, I didn't freeze. I just didn't think you were done talking. I'm also insanely distracted. Like, if anybody ever watches this, like, wow, Dan really doesn't seem engaged. It's not that I'm not engaged. It's just that I'm engaged with like 8 things at once.
I believe that's called multitasking.
Yeah, I'm not good at it, apparently.
Under the microphone.
Right. Talking to the mic.
Get up on that mic. It will get real loud.
Real loud. But yeah, no, so I don't even know if I told you this, that, like, we had been shopped someone that was going to be on The Voice preemptively before the show even came out. And I was like, all right, sure. But like that really furthered my thoughts that they were picking like unsigned developmental, like, artist kind of deals and kind of putting them into the contest, knowing that they were going to get at least on the show, maybe not win, but I don't know. I still feel like there's a lot of potential things that aren't as they seem on shows like that. Like I feel like maybe because like sometimes watching The Voice, like you'll see someone that's just got a phenomenal voice, and then no one turns around, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's some kind of like pre-screening or something going on with that where they just, I think, I mean, because it's television, I think a lot of the time they'll just like when they're screening people, the people that are the most interesting and the most outward are the ones that kind of get it. So like maybe you have a great voice, but maybe you're just not that interesting of a person, which sounds really harsh saying that out loud like that. But I mean that's also why like you'll be tearing your hair out wondering why somebody is like not a great singer but like still on the show.
Well, that's like the one that pissed me off and really started making me second guess the validity of what's presented as the show was when Cassidy Pope ended up on it. Because if you remember her at all, she was in a band called Hey Monday, and they were on Fueled by Ramen. They like did Warped Tours, like they were for their time and what they were a part of. They were kind of a big deal. Like they never were like the big band, but like they were a decent enough band that had a pretty good following. So when she ended up on the show and then kind of went more a country route and then ended up winning with Blake and having a country career now, it's like, why? It sounds shitty to be like, why do you deserve a chance over somebody else who hasn't even had that opportunity? But it was weird seeing that happen, and I was like, that seems a little put on. But then what was that kid's name? Billy Gilman or whatever?
Yeah.
Was on and didn't even make it that far, and I was like, "Oh, maybe that disproves my theory."
that kid had a hit single, yeah,
yeah, way bigger than Cassidy Pope ever did.
Right? It's just it's weird, and it seems to me like they tend to gravitate towards people that are just total train wrecks. Because that's entertaining. Like that's what the people want.
I remember when the dude went on that did the Cupid Shuffle, and he sang his own song, and they're like. They turned around. They're like, "Wait, it's you. This is your song. Why didn't you do something else that showcased your range?" And he was just like, "I don't know." That's so weird.
This is the song that people liked. I don't know. Get off it.
Yeah. All that aside, though, this one quick little chat with Matt. Again, the record is still up for pre-order right now. Slavesgotmerchnow.com. Pre-order To Better Days. They have a bunch of merch bundles. Go support these guys. Especially right now because they can't go out and tour, and that's a real bummer way to put out a record when you can't really support it. And if you would like to keep up with all things Slaves, simple enough, Facebook official Slaves, Instagram and Twitter at Slaves Official for the time being until they have new socials. And if you would like to keep up with Matt, you can find him on Instagram at Matt McAndrews, Matt Music, and on Twitter at Matt McAndrew. I'll tell you where he can be found, potentially until he changes his name.
You cut out. I didn't hear what you said at all.
I said, and Dan will tell you where he can be found on the internet until he potentially changes his name.
Oh, yeah. Probably not. Dan's pretty safe, I think, for now, until some dude named Dan does something horrible. But yeah, I can be found on... I can be found on Discography Discussion. That's hilarious. You found me.
You're like a shitty Waldo.
Absolutely. Where am I at? Yeah, front and center. I can be found on Twitter at Discuss Metal Dan. I can be found on Facebook under Daniel Terry. You can find my other podcast, Discography Discussion and Discuss Metal at discussmetal.com.
And if you would like to keep up with all things this podcast, you can find us simply enough at brewspeakpod.com. If you would like to follow our socials, brewspeakpod.com on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel. We have a bunch of videos. If you haven't already, go back, check out that interview we did with Jesse Leach from last week. And some of our Instagram lives, we're putting them over there. We're dropping them into the feed. So if you would like to check them out visually, you can do such over there. If you'd just like to listen to them, they're going to be popping up in the feed. So check them out. And forthenomads.org. We talked about it last week. Still going. Round 4. A lot of cool shit. It's not up currently as of when we're talking, so I'm not necessarily going to say who is in it, but just know that I'm sure I'll be sharing a lot of the people that I've been reaching out to be a part of this. Go over to forthenomads.org. Donate if you can. And bid on anything that is of interest to you. All the money goes back to people who are out of work right now because they can't tour. and it's just for a great cause. Has raised over $100,000 in a little over 4 months, and couldn't be prouder of my friends for doing something when no one else would. A lot of people would just be like, "Oh fuck, I'm out of a job," or "Oh, woe is me," and Frank and Tater basically picked themselves up by their fucking bootstraps and did something for everybody else when no one else was willing to. So major props to them, as well as major props to our sponsors, starting with rockabilia.com. Head on over to rockabilia.com. They have over 500,000 items in their online store, all officially licensed through the bands and so forth. So not only when you buy a shirt are you supporting Rockabilia, but you're supporting the bands as well. And we can also support you financially a little bit if you use our code BREW15 and get 15% off your total order. So it's a win-win-win all the way around. We love saving you guys money. And another way we can save you money and make you look good in the process, On Point Pomade. Go to onpointpomade.com, use the code BSP15 and get 15% off your total order. Keep your beard and hair looking on point. And lastly but not leastly is The Bean Bastard. Head on over to thebeanbastard.com and get you some delicious coffee. Those guys are supporting essential workers, and we want to support them for all that they do. And for the Brutally Speaking podcast, I am John.
And I am Dan.
We will talk to you all next time.
Hi, Alfonso.
I should bring his ass into this thing.
You
Make
should.
fun of him.
You
Make
should.
fun of him for being bald.
Let's do it.
All right.
That way I don't have to keep
He's gonna-
making fun of you. He's probably just not going to do it. He'll be like, no.
Actually, one of the last times I asked him if he wanted to do it, he was like, yeah, but like I got stuff. And then I was like, well, it's not really an excuse.
I got stuff. I got all kinds of stuff behind me.
Jimmer, yeah, you got your still got that ground card.
Yeah, you want to see it? It's over there somewhere. I don't know. Actually, I'm selling 2 graphics cards now.
Oh, selling 2. All right.
I'm staring at you, Jeremy. I'm standing right behind you. You just don't know it yet. I know the background doesn't seem like it's, the same as where you're at, but it's totally you. I'm staring right at you.
Right.
Back of your head. Hopefully you're not holding a meat cleaver.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Talk about awkward. That would be super awkward if I had a meat cleaver and he also had a meat cleaver.
So I'm going to turn off Skype now.
Yeah, same. Skype is for losers. Then Skype's like, oh, great. Well, I'm going to wait till you're right in the middle of your chat with TJ and just totally shit the bed.
From my headphone jack. There it is.
There. Hey, you got it.
I got it. I've done it.
Realistically, what I'm staring at is I've got kind of a multi-monitor setup here. So I've got on my other computer, I've got a I've got a like a 40-inch TV to my right, your left. I don't know how this works, but basically to my right, and it's distracting me constantly. I'm constantly looking over at Facebook, and then now I just realized though I don't actually have to read the comments from that. I can see them here. So these are all things that I'm figuring out in real time. It's very educational.
Yep.
So I need to bust out that Battlestar Galactica board game I have up on my window.
What is that going to do for you?
I don't know.
Out of the one out of your window, I got you. Yeah.
I've never played it before, so it's kind of a new experience for me.
It's a nude experience for you.
Is it? I mean,
I don't know.
It could be. Could be that, but it's not.
Battle Scratch Galactica?
Battlestar Scratch-a-tackula? Yeah.
Incubus.
Make yourself a sandwich.
There we go. Had to get some apple juice in my computer.
Yeah, nobody knows that Incubus was actually on the forefront for feminism back on their Make Yourself album, because originally it was called Make Yourself a Sandwich.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, man. I'm just Oh, wow, that's fun. I don't think I've ever made John laugh.
That was just so bad.
I'm a dad. And I tell dad jokes pretty much all the time. So I guess Alfonso's like, yeah, I can't do it because I'm a loser.
It's about as smooth as his head.
There you go. I say that. I joke. It's all in jest, but I would absolutely rub his head if given the opportunity.
Well, he'd probably let you.
Well, I know he would.
He's a gentle man.
I expect a full bear hug, whenever it's safe to do so.
Oh,
I could touch his head first. Oh, hey, we were talking
small motherfucker over here.
We were talking some trash. So
you're talking trash.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
I see.
That's what you do when you're on the internet with your PlayStation 2 headphone set you got there.
This is not my PlayStation. This is actually my work headphone set, actually.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing that I use for work since I work from home now because of COVID.
How's your neck doing?
My neck hurts like hell.
Lotion the fuck out of it like I told you to.
Well, no. My neck, as far as my tattoos, I thought you were talking about the show. No, my neck hurt because of the show. I haven't been able to go back to get it tattooed on my neck for like 3 weeks. I'll be going there on Sunday. Yeah, this Sunday. Maybe, I think.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
I kind of feel left out. I don't have any tattoos.
Yeah, don't get any. They hurt. Mine's just completely not done yet at all.
I don't like things that hurt. I like comfort a lot.
It's awful. It's just pure hell, dude. Pure hell.
Yeah,
and I ended up buying like this numbing cream, and it was just.
Did it work?
It worked. It like I'll be flat out honest. It works for about an hour and a half, but then like at literally like an hour and a half, it's just like it's instantly gone, and you're just like, please stop. You need to stop right now.
That's how they sell you more cream.
True. Yes, exactly. Lidocaine, basically.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, I know like the stuff I was using the first time on my stomach when I got that done for like 5 hours, and for whatever. For those who've never seen.
Oh wow.
This took about 5 hours.
That's happening in real time. Okay.
And the thing about a lot of the stuff that I was having used, Vaseline is the product that I had used, is you have to go through the whole tattoo. It has to break your skin, and then you apply it, and then you're good for a while at least. But the stuff that I've seen, I've been wondering because like it's like everything that I've seen that I've heard of, you basically have to get some of the tattoo going because it's got to break the skin. It's got to be able to get into the skin to get the numbing agent to go. And then that's why I was like so sketchy. The stuff where.
No, with this, it worked out pretty well. Like it wasn't like I didn't have to break the skin. Like I just put it on like an hour before and I wrap it with like, what's it called? Saran wrap, and then we're straight. But I don't know if John is working right now.
John's gone. This happened earlier.
The still that I'm seeing of him is hilarious.
I know.
It's just stuck on this. How have you been, Dan?
Oh, I've been living day in and day out, basically just working.
Yeah.
Really, my life hasn't changed all that much through most of this. I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I come home, I play with my kids, and I go downstairs in my creepy basement and do podcasts for the rest of the night. That's pretty much. Oh, hey, John.
Hey, John, what's up? How many kids you got, Dan?
4.
Oh, wow, dude. You were busy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was busy.
He won't be for like at least another 26 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez.
You got a prison sentence.
How old are your kids? Like, from what age?
Well, I've got a 6-year-old girl, and I was like, how old are you?
He's just getting lost.
6-year-old little girl. I've got a 4-year-old little girl. I've got a 2-year-old boy and a 10-month-old boy.
Okay, so you got 2 boys, 2 girls. You lucked out, bro. You got them all. You knocked them all out the way there.
Yeah, we got the best of both worlds and then doubled it.
There you go. Exactly. I had a buddy that I worked with for a long time. Like, he got married and then they like wanted to have kids. So his wife got pregnant and like they wanted 2 kids. Turns out she was pregnant with twins, so they knocked it out in once.
That's awesome.
It was like done. Whatever.
I mean, I definitely feel sorry for for anybody that would have to have twins. I've watched 4 children be born in front of me and it does not look like it. Well, and my wife, she had all those kids. My wife's like Wonder Woman. I didn't know that I was married to Wonder Woman, but she had those kids with like no anesthesia or anything. Like we were talking about how like tattoos hurt and stuff. She just had 4 kids, just like went into a room and had the children. Like it's
like Stargate, just people coming out of a portal.
It pretty much was.
Or Event Horizon could be one of them, depending on how you feel about it.
But like I think about that, like how she did that. And then I think about how like I stubbed my toe earlier and I like legit started crying. like it hurt so bad.
Well, I mean, it's like, but here's the thing though, like for one, women are 100% born with that instinct already, like being able to have children. So then 2, they're prepared, their bodies are preparing for 9 months of pure hell to like dump this thing out of its body, out of their body. So it's like, that makes sense, like be able to have that much of a pain threshold to be able to prepare for that long. I'm sure it's a lot, you have more to plan than just like, hey, I'm going to wake up in the morning and just ram my toe into the corner here. And you're just like dying.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was basically trying to move my entire house with just that toe. I was like, I'll give it a running start, I guess. But
dude, yeah. Stubbing your toe hurts like nobody's business, dude. It is absolutely horrid.
Yeah, it's not fun. The only thing worse than that is stepping on a Lego, which I have done several times. That's just the worst. I stepped on a Lego truck the other day and like fell down. Dude, if somebody would have been filming it, like it would have been like the top TikTok video of like all time.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it would have been incredible. That was my one chance at fame, and I blew up because I didn't have anybody to watch it.
I don't know. I think one of the shitty things is when you're changing strings and the high E gets like pierces you.
Oh, dude, that hurts so bad too. That hurts so bad. And then like no matter what, like I've been playing guitar since I was 13, dude. I'm 38, about to be 39. Until this day, when I tune guitar strings, I'm always like, as it like goes higher because I think it's gonna like whack me in the face. It's such like unrealistic fear, It's like when you're trying to open like the little thing of biscuits from like Pillsbury, and you're like,
oh, that's terrifying, dude.
Dude, you do it all the time, and it feels like the first time every time.
Oh my god, I want a biscuit so bad right now. I'm on a diet, so like I've already eaten all my food for the day. So like I ain't getting nothing until tomorrow.
Oh, that sucks, man. I just got home from like my second job, so I'm gonna make some food here.
So
soon.
Alfonso, you'll find this, and you'll probably be the only person on this that'll know what I'm talking about. So the other day, I was on discography discussion to do chat on Still Remains.
Yeah.
So I was telling Bridget leading up to it because I was like, I don't really know that we're going to talk about the EP because they have a no EP rule. But there's obviously going to be a big shift in sound from the last EP to Of Love and Lunacy. And so I was telling Bridget, I was like, what's going to be really hard is if we end up talking about it, is not to call Jordan Gilliam Black Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And then like she was like, why? And I was like, well, because that's what we all call him. And that's what we've called him since he was in Stilly.
Yeah, that guy just wears black all the time. Like he was like straight goth. He is.
Well, no, Black Jordan, like the actual Jordan Gilliam, the old original guitar player who is black.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like anytime you'd ever get introduced to him, that's how he would like. It was almost like for a while when I got called Doug, everyone was like, "Oh, it's Doug." Everyone was like, "Oh, this is Black Jordan," and you're like, "Oh, okay." But
That's so funny.
it just becomes this thing where, like, I was reminded. I don't know if either of you two watched C-Lab 2021.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, well, it's been a long time, so I don't know if I remember, but
Dan, have you ever watched that?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it was like an Adult Swim, one of the first Adult Swim cartoons. But there was there was a scene in it where there were two Debbies, and so they were like, "Oh, well, that's Black Debbie," and then so like one of them was like, "Why do you call her Black Debbie?" And they're like, "Well, that would like why isn't the other one White Debbie?" And they're like, "That would be weird." So I always kind of think of shit like that, but I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to get canceled because of like what a whole area of Michigan had called somebody and how he was introduced."
Joe would have cut that out for sure, or he would have just cut out the word black.
Oh, that would have been even worse.
And then it would have made it sound like you were saying something really, really horrible about this dude. Like,
oh yeah,
would have sounded like some Tom Sawyer shit.
Well, you're not gonna get like canceled over a descriptor.
No. but people will be mad about it. People will be totally mad about it.
Well, that's like the thing too, like where it was like, I mean, A, that was the times, but B, it's like that legitimately is what like how he got introduced to everybody.
That's so funny to me. So wait, hold on. Stillies is putting out a new EP?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was like,
we're putting out an EP. They're putting out an EP on Still Remains.
Oh, and then, okay.
I
get what you're saying.
Yeah, and then Dan's gonna talk to TJ.
Oh, nice.
On Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. They didn't really ever like officially break up though. Like they just kind of like do whatever whenever they want now, I guess. You know.
Well, they did break up, but then they came back.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like the last, I mean, Jesus, dude, I remember playing with Still Remains when like they were just like straight local band that had just started in like Grand Rapids. Like,
here's a better one. Do you remember playing shows with Law Dispute when they were still a local band?
Oh yeah, at Skeletones. Their bass player, I forget. At one point in time, years and years ago. No, that wasn't my wife. That was my roommate.
Oh.
I have roommates, yeah. So, at one point in time, we had played a show somewhere, and they played the show with us. And to be honest, dude, I don't know anything about that band. I never talked to any of them. Maybe in passing. I literally don't know them at all. So it was a surprise to me that this guy like who knew who we were. And like this was back in like the MySpace days, and like he like freaked out and like posted something about like how I was like a terrible person or something, where I was like a homophobe because at some show like a long time ago in like 2003 or 4 I dropped like the F, like the F word to describe like a like it wasn't for like a gay person, it was like something else, like, and this was like back in the day. Like I'm not condoning what I said, but at the same time it was like he just like went on a rant from like this one show, and I was like, dude, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, yeah, and this was like back in like 2003. I don't know if he's in the like band anymore. I don't even remember his name. Like, I don't know anything, but that's like the only story I have of Law Dispute besides playing with them at Skeletones, and like people went nuts for that band. We
were playing a show with, I think it was Forever the Sickest Kids at Skeletones.
Okay.
And Law Dispute was playing a secret show. It was like their warm-up show before they went over to Australia with Thursday. So like everybody fucking left our show to go to that one. And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah. I remember like, see, that was the one thing. I remember when they were like still a local band and they somehow got to like Australia. And I was like, what in the world? Like, how do you do that? I mean, that's
the question you're asking.
Yeah, like to this day, I'm just like, well, I mean, clearly somebody in the band had some good finances to be able to make that happen, and good for them, because the band, I mean, obviously that band has become this like very big staple in the like melodic hardcore community, and like, I mean, that band plays a show, bro, and there's like, sellout show every time, like it doesn't matter where they play, like they'll just sell out the show, and kids like all the words. And like I tried to listen to the band, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Like it was good, like the music's good, like the lyrical content is really cool, like the guy clearly knows how to write lyrics, and the guy clearly knows how to tell stories, and he's a great storyteller. But it doesn't, like, that kind of music never has spoken to me. But it's the same thing with like most of like a lot of the like emo stuff that like came out. Like I never got into, bro. Like I wasn't really into like Thursday, like great band, and I saw them live. But like I never bought a record. I was never into that. Like I never got into like most of those bands, like Law Disputed, like great band, but like it just doesn't like I don't know, like that kind of music doesn't do it for me the way that like Behemoth or like Slipknot or Korn and stuff does to me. You know, it's just one of those things, and there's nothing bad about it. It's just like, you know, you have your tastes.
Here's a fun question for everybody: what's a band that you just don't get that everyone loves?
A band that I don't get that everybody loves,
Yep,
bro. Like I'll be flat out honest. Like a band that I really just don't get why people are just crazy about all of the time is oh my god, what is it? Was just like at the tip of my tongue, bro. Uh damn it.
Well, while you're thinking, Dan, what's yours?
Yeah. What was the band?
I mean, I got a whole list. I do a whole show about this. I would have to say probably Stained. I don't get it. I mean, I really love their first. I really love their first. Zayo, really. Sorry,
Zayo.
Jeremy Prince. I get it. A lot of people say that about Zayo. They're my favorites, but some people don't like them for whatever reason, or maybe just don't get them. I don't think it's a dislike thing, but anyway. With Stained, what I don't get, like I really love their first record, Dysfunction. Like I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I guess technically that's their second record, but nobody listened to their first one, except John. But like everything after that, I just don't get it. Like they went from being this like super heavy band to being like whiny melodic rock music. I can't read the posters behind you, John. But like it just got super whiny. And like just weird, like, and then they like went country for a while, but like everybody's always just like, oh my god, Stained is just such a great band or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like I don't think it's bad country, I don't think it's bad whiny rock, but I'm just not into it. It doesn't push the emotional buttons for me that it pushes for everybody else. And it's kind of the same thing about Cold. Like I never understood Cold at all, because like you can't understand anything the dude says. Like it's very, which is ironic, I know, but like, it just sounds like he's got mashed potatoes in both of his cheeks when he sings, and I don't get it.
For me, like really thinking about it, like I don't understand why people go so like vehemently crazy and still buy like 1 million tickets for Five Finger Death Punch. Like I don't have a problem with the band. Like I saw them live, and like seeing them live, I get like that they're a really good band, and that they're really professional at what they do. They don't sound bad at all. Like the band is like, I mean, I got nothing bad to say about the band as like whatever, but like musically, for me, there are things that like a band needs to touch on for me to feel like I could get really into it. And one of those things is obviously, because I'm a vocalist, is like the lyrics, you know. But I like lyrics to be presented in a way that aren't always so like super like easy to read, you know. So for me, when I hear, you know, like some of the lyrical content on those songs, I'm just like, I don't get it, bro. Like, and at the same time, like I don't really get, because like the songs are like, they're like so formulaic. But I will say that I get it in the sense of like I understand the concept of like the business aspect of that and how they're working. Like I'm not going to hate on the band, and I'm not going to be like, oh, they're terrible, because that's not it, you know. Like I think, to me, taste is something that is super personal, and it's super like opinionated, you know. Like what I may think is good, other people think, I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't get the Deftones, so like I get it. But for me, a band like that, you know, when your lyrics are like, you know, weren't you the one, I'm just like, that's so yeah, it's like, it's just so cheese dick to me. Like, all right, bro, like tell us like how you feel, I guess, like straightforward. Like don't Like it's like when you're reading a book, bro. Like when you're reading a book, do you want to read a book that tells you the end right at the beginning? Like you already know the end, or do you want to read a book that like has like ebbs and flows and climbs and like gives you like a really cool like atmosphere that it builds on until it gets to the end? You're like, oh, okay. But a band like that, bro. And then at the same time, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't really understand like the fan base in the sense of like, because I don't, it's like I don't go to shows to like just drink a beer and like bob my head. Like I don't get that, you know. And a lot of those fans like to go to a show to do that and that. Like they don't even care what's going on. They're just like, I'm here drinking my Bud Light and like, yeah, brother, And it's just like I'm just like I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll give a band like Five Finger Death Punch, because I agree with everything you said, but the only thing that I can give a band like that, or like even like a Demon Hunter or something like that, is that
okay,
like,
hold on, but Demon Hunter is dope though. All right, I guess I'm the odd man out.
Demon Hunter is the Five Finger Death Punch of Christian rock.
Oh my God, no, they're not.
They really.
Ryan even said to both of us they are.
Yeah, they really are.
We have the archival footage. We can pull up an interview that looks similar to this.
Yeah, it's on YouTube right now. It's
Demon Hunter is like, I love Demon Hunter. I think that band is dope as hell.
I don't hate Demon Hunter. I don't even hate Five Finger Death. I don't hate a lot of bands.
No, yeah, like I'm the same way. Like I don't hate a lot of bands. It's one of those things. Like you said, like the way that you feel about Stain, I like Stain, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, but they're but bands like that serve a really interesting purpose, in that they allow people to give heavy music a try.
For sure. No, absolutely. Like I definitely agree with that. I think that's 100% true statement. So I understand the need for those bands and I understand why those bands exist. I just don't understand the fanfare of like that kind of stuff. It doesn't really like do it for me, you know what I'm saying? But
sure.
But I mean at the same time, like a lot of my friends like to pick on me because they don't get the Deftones, and I'm just like, how do you not get it? Like, what do you mean you don't get it? Like, so it could be the same for me. There's some people who really just, like for like things that I don't get. Like I don't get coming home and just like sitting down and like watching TV and just like doing nothing for the rest of the day, like from 5 till the next day. Like to me, that makes no sense. But it's because like I don't live in that realm. The bands that I like don't really live in the realm of Five Finger Death Punch. Now, don't get me wrong. I like my like what I would call like my guilty pleasures. Like these apparently Demon Hunter is apparently a guilty pleasure, but like
it's okay that you like Demon Hunter. I mean, it's fine. But I also want you to see it for what it is. Try not to hear it when you're the next time you listen to Demon Hunter, dude. They directly lift their own. They rip off their own songs. Like a lot. But.
Yeah, man. Like another band that I would say like I've never understood is Thursday. Like I really don't get, like, at all. Like I don't get that. But like I don't get the guys, like I don't get why people like the guys like singing voice. I don't get the music. Like, and again, it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad. It's just like one of those things where it's just like I never got into like most of those bands. I just didn't. Like it was just like, all right, I think like the one band that I really liked from that era and that genre was like Hope's Fall. I thought Hope's Fall was really dope. Like that band really made like an impact, and I saw what they were doing. But like the Thursdays and like Law Dispute and like all that stuff, I was just like, I don't know. I don't see like what people. I guess it's like, again, the lyrical content to me is just like it's too like upfront and forward, but at the same time, it's like the guy, like that music lends itself to like tell like a really exact story, And it was just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just like too much of a fan of like guys like Chino and stuff who just like do like very like atmospheric, abstract stuff. And I'm going to sit here and say I point the finger at myself because I've written some straight up forward like songs too. So it's not that. I guess it's just all preference,
Absolutely. Well,
John, what about you?
Oh yeah, I got to hear John. Then I got to get off and tuck my wife in.
Same. I would say a big one for me is Chevelle.
Chevelle. Hey, let me tell you, I like Chevelle's music. No, I like Chevelle's music. But when I saw them live, bro,
they're terrible. They're so boring.
No, like not terrible. Like they sounded great.
Yeah, they sound great. But they're just boring as fuck.
They literally just stand there, and I was just like, okay, like I'm just listening to the record live. Like that's what it was.
Chevelle
like the guy just
he just stands there. But for me, it's Chevelle because I feel like Dan, have you guys done a discography discussion on them?
No, it's funny that you say that because I was just about to say that we've tried to do discography discussion on Chevelle several times, and I just can't get through the records.
Because what I was going to say is I think they're interesting in the fact that I think that they gained popularity for sounding like other bands. So their first big single was sounded like "Be Quiet and Drive" by the Deftones.
No,
Tool, bro.
No way.
Well, hold on. You don't think "Send the Pain Below" doesn't sound like fucking Deftones?
Well, Send the Pain Below wasn't their first single.
I didn't say their first. I said their first big single.
Well, The Red was a huge single.
Not as compared. No, like at least I can listen to our local shitty radio station here, and I'll hear "Send the Pain Below" probably 10 times. GRD will pump that song well before I'll hear "The Red."
Really?
Oh,
no,
yes.
Alfonso's onto something with that though, because like
but let me finish my thought though.
Okay.
What they ended up doing was taking over the spot that Tool left behind. So where you used to hear all the singles coming off of Tool records, that's where Chevelle kind of became that weird proggy, quote unquote proggy kind of weird band. And I think it's also because obviously they're a 3-piece akin to what Tool is musically as far as like the band itself. But like there's been plenty of times I heard something and I'm like, I don't think this is necessarily good. I think it's just someone goes, oh, I don't have any new Tool, and this is good enough for what I want to hear on the radio, so I guess I like it. It just feels like that. It just feels like a weird Tool radio ripoff for me. And I think they just found a way to take over a spot that wasn't occupied by anybody else currently.
It's a slow, boring band.
Yep.
With a singer that has a very, very cosmetic singing similarity to Maynard.
Yeah.
Is the only Tool comparison that I can really give it. He doesn't sound like Maynard, but he sounds like a guy that wants to.
Well, I mean, they should get the guy from Earshot if they want to do that.
Oh, I know. Dude, that guy was like straight up.
That guy sounded
Alfonso's eyes just lit up.
Yeah, that guy was like, hey, bro, that guy was like, I remember when that band first came out and I was like still in high school and I was in Miami, right? And that band came out and that band got so much crap because everybody thought that they were Tool, that they literally on their website had to put, "We are not Tool," because everybody thought it was like a Tool like song, bro.
Yeah.
And like that first song, and we were like, "What the hell?" But I liked Earshot. I thought Earshot was a cool band. I mean, just the guy just unfortunately or fortunately had a voice that you could compare to Maynard, but sometimes that's a problem too, bro. Like, and that's the thing. It's like there's so many small things that like can affect you as an artist and can affect you. It's just like in whatever you're doing and whatever craft you have, because it's like you can't sound too much like Maynard because now it's like now you got a problem, or you can't sound too much like Chino because now you got a problem, and you can't so it's like it's this very fine line, on what you can or can't do in the public eye. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Eddie Vedder ruined it for everybody, really, in the sense of like in the 90s, because everybody came out with that voice, and it was like you really were like, maybe that's just the way that guy really actually sings, but everybody now just sounds like, him. And it's like, okay, well, they're all Pearl Jam ripoff bands, but that wasn't it either,
Yeah, totally.
Pearl Jam, music to kill your family too.
So, well, speaking of that, I'm gonna go visit my family.
No.
That's not what I'm getting at.
No, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from?
I don't know. John's a little deep in the cups.
No, it's not the cups. It's the weed.
Oh, there it is. Fair enough.
Yeah, Alfonso, at 36, I decided to start smoking weed right before bed so I can actually sleep through the night.
I mean, hey, man, whatever.
That nectar doesn't really seem to help my back that much.
Whatever floats your boat, bro. I ain't judging.
You got to do you, man.
That's right.
Well, till next week.
Gentlemen.
All right, boys.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. See you later, dude.
See you.